All right, in this video, I'm going to explain how to add a new append to a job queue and how to edit your appends. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into my job queues, and I want to go over something first real quick. I want to go over the status column here. The status column will automatically be populated with new item when you create a new call tracking item. But you can click inside that field like this and hit the backspace and give it a new status. And that status could be whatever you want it to be. Typically, what I tell people to do here is give it a really short description in reference to what the job queue is about. Um, so for this particular one, I know it's in reference to a customer, so I could just type in a customer. Or you could, change it to like in progress or something like that if you would like to. For this one, I'm just going to backspace it out and put in. You only have a few characters there, so you're limited to I think it's 8 characters. So it's got to be real short and brief. But it helps you when you come into your job queue screen to get a better idea of what the job queue is in relationship about. So over here on the comment side, this will show you the first append to the new call tracking item that was when it was created. So all these were created off of transfers. So if I double click on one of those, you can see the first append that occurred was off of a transfer, and this is that information, and that's what you're seeing over here in the comments section. If I go to this one, it wasn't in relationship to any particular transfer or customer or anything. It's just this was the first append that occurred on that call tracking item, and that's what you're seeing there. You can change this view. You could go to expand tracker comments by clicking on the magnifying glass, or you can go to view and hit change view and go to expand tracker comments. I'm going to click on it right here. And this will show you all the individual appends that occurred on a job queue. This is not a very clean view right here, but if you didn't want to open up the call tracking item, you just wanted to glance at it real quick, this is what you could do to see a little bit more information. You could also choose customer, but this is a little misleading as well. It's really what this customer column means right here is just what the call tracking item is in reference to. This one down here is actually in reference to a customer. So is these two right here. These were transfers, and this one was based off of a user. So to explain this, so I'm going to double click on this one. You can see at the top it has the first field in the job queue says customer, and it is in relationship to a customer. Well, the first field in this job queue is actually a transfer, which is not even being displayed up here. But because this was created from a transfer, you see the transfer number in the customer field. This one right here was created off of a user. So if I double click on that, you can see user, and it's got Robert Herring there. Now, this view may be very beneficial because you can reference this and say, oh, okay, this job queue is a reference transfer, this one's in reference to that customer, this one's in reference to that user. And then you also have the status column there and the comments column as well. All right, so I'm going to go back to my tracker comments, the original view. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you how to do a new append. So I'm going to double click on this job queue, open it up, and you can see that there's some things that are going on here. And this is sorted in descending order. So you can change that if you want to by going up to options and hit sort, and you can change it to ascending, and you can see that it put it in ascending order, or you can go back and change it back to descending. I like it in descending order. Now to do a new append, you'll go to edit and new append. because you may not have this button created like I have here. So options, I'm sorry, yep, edit, and then you append. All right. In this section, this is where you're going to basically tell the call tracking item who you want this append to go to. Now you got to be careful here because you could have multiple people on this call tracking item. Anytime you append to a call tracking item, anybody that has access to that can see all the appends. What the to field really means is, who do you want to be notified of this new append? You may want everybody to be notified, or you may just want one individual out of a group of individuals to be notified, because the response that you're giving is just really in reference for that one particular person, and you don't need to bother everybody else with it. However, everybody else that's associated with this call tracking item can see those appends. So let's just say, for example, I want this to go to one individual. So I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to type in that one individual, and it automatically puts his name down here. You can see that's the to field, but you don't have to keep this here. You can delete that out. It's not going to hurt anything. I'm just going to say, thanks again. We need training when you have the opportunity. Okay. And then I'm going to exit. When I click the X, it's going to ask me, do I want to save changes? I hit yes, and there you can see my append. And then, of course, I can exit out again, which you have to, and it'll say, do you want to save changes to this call tracking item? You hit yes, and then it's been updated. So I'm going to go back in there, and you can see right here my append. Now, let's just say, for example, you made a mistake and you want to edit your append. You have that ability. All you got to do is, anywhere that has your username, you can click in that text below your username, such as this one, and then hit edit append, or go edit append, or Control D. And then you can just come over there and select the text that you want to change or get rid of, and then hit save and exit. And then exit the job queue, and you can see that it removed that text. And hit yes. Now, there's one other thing I want to show you here. You could go to edit new append, and you could add an additional person to this call tracking item from the screen as well. And you just simply type in that person's name. So I'd say I want to add B more to this. Now they will be added to this call tracking item and will be notified of this append. But the other user, which we know is IT department, they won't be notified. However, even though they're not notified, if they happen to open up this call tracking item, they could see these additional pins. All right. Last but not least on here, I don't want to save those changes. Let's say you have a very large job queue, such as this one, with multiple people on there, and you want your new append to go to everybody, including yourself, the notification. You click on this little button right next to the drop down to the to field. It will show you all the users that are associated with this job queue. And from here, you could right click and remove people, such as yourself, which means you just won't receive a notification that the job queue has been updated, which typically I do, because I'm creating the new append, so I don't need to be notified. And you could add additional users here as well by simply typing in the username. And all you got to do once you're satisfied with the list of individuals that will be notified of this new append, you click the X and hit yes. And now you can see the to field has multiple in there, and there are the users, their usernames. Now, like I said, you don't have to keep this here if you don't want to, Most people do, and then just go on about adding their comments that they need to. Now, I'm not going to save these changes because this is actual real job queue that I don't want to pin that junk to. So I'm going to hit no, and then I'm going to exit out. All right, so I've shown you how to add an append to a job queue and how to edit your appends as well. I've also gone over how to modify the status to give you a little bit more info about the job and what's going on. And I've gone in and shown you how to, when you're creating a new append, how to add new individuals and to add multiple individuals to a job queue. All right. One other thing I want to show you is the for list. So right here on the body of the call tracking item, if you click on for list, that's another place that you can go to and see a list of individuals that are on this job queue. Now the reason I'm showing you that is there may be a point in time in a call tracking item that you want to bring in another individual and you just need to give them access to see this. But you don't have to go up to edit and you append to add somebody. You can simply go to the for list, type in that person's name, and then exit the job queue, and it will add that individual and give them access to this job queue or call tracking item. Now, that'll do it for this video, and then in another video I'll go over how to go about removing yourself from a call tracking item and closing out a call tracking item. Thank you.